Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 40. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo from High-Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to have a look back, see what happened in the last week of the Forex market. And as always, things are going up and down. In last week, well, unfortunately, it looks a bit like these two gentlemen here. Things are not so well. Profits are actually down. Drawdowns on some of the EAs, well, they are pretty much level, where other ones are slightly worse. We're going to go through everything in here today, of course, as usual. So you'll see the top 5 EAs. You will see the entire portfolio of our individual EA robots that we are currently trading. Now, last week also I mentioned that we got a bit of a strike from the YouTube channel. Since then, we have put in extra disclaimers. We have also kept away from all these 100% win rates. And it looks like so far, so good. We'll just have to see if that actually continues. But it's nice to see that we actually can update everybody on our trading results. And obviously that is the whole part of this channel, to show you exactly what works, what doesn't work, how well it works, and also what you can or cannot do with the robots going forward. So part of this is obviously also trying to tell you which one is the best robot. And there's always a lot of questions about this, which one I'm going to take. Well, we've done a few before where we are lining them up against each other. And this is the latest video that we did. I'm going to explain a bit more later on in the video exactly what the video is about, which EAs are actually part of it. Also, we are going through Alex and Expert4x. He has sent out a couple of videos this week, so we're going to show you also exactly what those are all about, trying to explain it a bit, because some of them actually might be worth having a closer look at. And of course, we're also going to have a closer look at our link to success service in here. As usual, we're going to try and pinpoint some of the best ones. As always, we are putting some limitations in here, so you can only see the very, very best. Those are the ones that at least you should start having a look at. And from there on, you can obviously spread your portfolio. So let's get into it. Let's see how the last week actually went. So as we start with the Wave Liberator for week 40, the top 5 EAs are the following. The Great British Pounds CAT, $34, 3.4%. So that actually seems to have gone quite well. So have the Euro USD at $29, 2.9%. And then it drops all the way down. The top 5 portfolio in here with the US Japanese, $22, 2.2%. So on this particular Wave Liberator, so it doesn't look too bad. Overall, the top 5 did $137 or 2.7%, and that is still within a reasonable range here, so without being a total disaster. Now, if we have a look at the entire portfolio, again, very nice and smooth graph in here. Balance 268, equity 252, so floating profit and loss pretty much equal as what we had last week with 15,400. But a huge close profit of 44,000, and still monthly returns of 1%, or if you then dial it down to $1,000 accounts, then obviously you'll have around 10%, and a weekly return about 2.5, 77,000 pips in here, and then trades per day still around 12 with a history now of 776 days. And overall, if we have a look at it, you can also see here that actually the Wave Liberator did quite well on the portfolio, 232 versus 204 last week. So it is up from last week in here, but still coming in a bit lower than what we have seen in the last 3 weeks. Now, if we go to the RSI Liberator, it's not exactly the same, unfortunately. So week 40 here has been a bit of a disappointment, except for Great British Pounds CAT, $26, 2.6%. That still should be able to give you around 10% on a monthly basis. But as you can see, they dropped very quickly. All the way at the bottom here, Aussie USD at $12, 1.2%. And that portfolio of the top 5 in here can only manage $93, 1.9%. And that is definitely not what we were looking for. We know that the portfolio overall is still going quite well. If we have a closer look, floating profit and loss, 16,800, so very well in profit over the plus 29,350 in here, so that's good. Monthly return is a bit lower than the Wave, so around 8% on $1,000 accounts, 2% on the weekly returns. And our trade wins here, also 66 is not too bad with 41,000 pips taken over 545 days. But when it now comes also to the profits in here, it has stagnated 142 versus 131. And if you look at the last 3 weeks, obviously it is less than half. So that is very, very disappointing. So it pretty much stagnated out. We would like to see it back in around the 300 mark. But definitely versus the Hedge EA that you see here, that has been a total disaster for this particular week. I think it's the lowest we ever seen the Hedge EA so far. We know that it's running with some drawdowns. We have Great British Pounds AUD, which is doing the very best here of $19, 1.9%, and then EuroCAD $17, 1.7%. But look at the bottom in here, Euro AUD and then AUD CAD, $3 each, 0.3%, only $57, 1.1% overall for the week. That is extremely low. Obviously, the graph is nice and smooth in here. That particular part came from back in April with all the tariffs and taxes out of the US in here. Floating profit and loss has gone up again on this particular one in here. Trade wins are 70% and a history of 259 days now. But when we go and have a look at, you'll actually notice that the top 5 in here, the top 5 basically did $56. And that is quite a bit of a disaster when we are looking at the other months. It looked like things were coming good, but this week the Hedge EA has really disappointed. Simple grid trader for week 40, well, it doesn't really disappoint, but certainly the numbers also here is low. Great British Pounds CAD, $77, 7.7%, and obviously that is great numbers just for 1 week. That's almost what some of the other EAs are doing in a month. Aussie CAD, well, there's a huge drop, as you can see, $27, 2.7%. And then the fades out down to the lower one, New Zealand CAD, $17, 1.7%. Overall, it still looks pretty good for the simple grid trader, $168, 3.4%. So clearly that is over the 10% mark that we're always trying to aim for. So easy enough, but not all of them are so well. We can see in here that the balance and this particular account is set up already with $1,000 accounts. So we now have a balance of 27,359. The equity is 21,663. So it is nicely positive. Floating profit and loss is below the closed profits, which is obviously nice. So it's in the money printing phase. Monthly returns, overall, the entire portfolio is still quite low with 6.5%. Weekly returns of 1.5%. And then trade wins, however, is high, 73 and 36,000 pips taken so far with 19 trades per day and a history of 172 days. So we are coming up to the first 6 months. Also in here, very disappointing, 196 is everything that we got in for the entire last week. 251 was the week before, and then we had a very nice 551. So the number is very low. So as we were basically expecting things to rise, well, that didn't happen. I also want to tell you a bit about the video that I have released last week. I get a lot of requests always asking me which one is the best EA, which is the one that performs the best. And the basically answer is not so simple. So what we have done here is, again, we are taking 5 EAs over the past 3 months. So this is basically Q3 of 2025. And then we measure it up between our 5 different EAs. And those are the ones that I'm also showing you here today. So they're all basically going head to head, face to face with them and figure out which one is actually the one that's coming on top. And I can already tell you now that the last one we did was for the first 6 months of 2025 up till end of June. And the winner is not the same. You can see a bit of a shift, and that actually what you get with the Forex market many times in here, what actually works for 1 quarter or for 2 quarters, then all of a sudden the EA is not producing the same anymore. And then another EA is doing better in that particular market in here. That is what has actually happened. So go please and have a look at the video here. I'll make sure that there's a link in the description below, and you'll see which one at the moment is the one that's actually cashing in the best. Now we also have to go through the lucky trader, which is also part of that video I just showed you there. Great British Pounds CAD at $40 or 4%. That sounds very nice, but look how fast we are actually going down the line. And at the bottom one, we have only nothing. So it's a 0, and that means there's only 4 accounts out of the 16 that we have that has actually cashed in this particular week. And that means that the overall portfolio has done $94, 1.9%, which is not too bad, but it's quite unusual that so few accounts are actually cashing in. Now, if we have a look at the graphs itself, again, you can see closed profits. We are getting closer in floating profit or loss. Even though it's gone up also this week, it has to come down. It simply has to. Trade wins are at 69% and 35,000 pips taken with about 12.9 trades per day. That's what the FX Blue is telling us. History of 337 days. And if we have a look at it, we can see that the lucky trader is in a bad basically spot at the moment. $94 last week, $99 the week before. And then we had some very good times with 336. We want to get back to the good times in here because obviously that is not what the EA is normally capable of. Now, I told you also that Expert4x has made a couple of videos, and this particular one in here again also shows you which trading robots to use. And Alex is basically going in saying on the Expert4x website in here, there's a range of preset files that you can use for your robots, and in there you can actually determine first of all which robots are the ones that are making the most money according to him. Then you can go and have a look at our videos, and then from there on there is actually also set files in there, and they will show you exactly what currencies are the best ones to actually trade at the moment. And you can take that details from his video. You can then have a look at the video that I just described to you before, see what actually matches up at the end of the day. And then that's where you should start your testing phase, put them on demo accounts, and then see which ones are right, which ones are the ones that are actually making the more money here at the moment. So a very good video if you are just starting, or if you want to know a bit more of which ones are the ones that you should put your efforts into and start making a bit of money. If that doesn't go well for you, then obviously the second video might be something for you in here. As Alex again going over the link to success, and that means that you don't have to buy the EAs, you don't have to buy any robots. All you have to do is become a premium forum member, and basically from there on you'll get 3 links to that particular link to success, where we have traders including ourselves set up a lot of different EAs. And then that is also what I'm going to show you right after this particular one here, which ones are the best ones at the moment, what kind of profits are they making. And Alex is kind enough also to mention our name in here, because we have quite a few on the link to success service, and the best ones is actually some of the ones that you see right here. Again, all the links that end on with a C is ours. We have a lot more than what we have in here. But if I want to show you some of the best ones, what I do is normally set it up with the floating profit or loss. I don't want to see anything more than 300. I will have total negative weeks in the last 8 weeks. I don't want to see any more than 300 either. And you can see they are kept in quite nicely. Some are pretty much 0. So that means that they have gone positive straight as the trades has been set. Other ones are down by 186, which is not really that much on a $1,000 account. You can see them over here, what's required. Some are 300, some are 1,000. Then we also take another one in, and that's where a lot of the accounts fall off, because we turn on total drawdown. I set this at 100%. If it's lower than 100, doesn't mean that it's not making money. But again, I'm just trying to give you some of the best one based on the search results I do. The last part we're going to do is basically percentage gains in the last 8 weeks, high to low. And then when we have a look at the percentage in here, we can see that link 300C, it's got 6%, another 6% in here over the last 6 weeks. 10, we go up to 17, and we are now in the 20s. And link 310C with a account size required of 300 over here, made 41% in the last 8 weeks. So those are some of the best ones with very high profits and very low drawdowns. And again, you can obviously then go have a closer look at the individual signals, see if you're happy with those signals, the way they trade. From there on, you put it on a demo account, you trade it for a couple of weeks, make sure that the results is actually as expected, similar to what we do. And from there on, you can then start having a look at real live accounts, real live money. But that is basically how you have to treat these particular copy link service. Make sure that you don't get any basically surprises out of this particular one when you have set it up at the first time. So this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, things are actually not that good when it comes to the profits for the week, but overall here, so even though that some of the drawdowns have gone slightly up, if you have made the right settings weeks and months ago, as you're setting all these EAs up, similar to what we do all the time, make small adjustments, then you should be fine overall anyway. The profit are just down for this particular week. We have already seen this morning, as we are shooting the video Monday morning here, that the market is very, very volatile. We have already cashed in several hundred euros early this morning here, so it looks like it could be a very, very good week. But that is the Forex market for you. Things are changing, things are constantly moving, and that means that one week you are not making any money. The next one, everything you lost last week is actually cashing in and more. So that is why this particular YouTube channel is open for business, so that you can see the individual EAs, how well they are doing. And also when you are trading, you can then compare it to our trading results to see if it's only you that have lower profits for that particular week here, or if it's a trend of the entire Forex market. So please give us a thumbs up on a like and a comment also if you saw similar tendencies in last week's trading market. Otherwise, I hope to see you on one of my other videos. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.